the passage here talks about the government's effort to re-examine the methodology for fixing a poverty line and estimating the incidence of poverty in the country. Let us have a look at the questions. Consider the following statements. In 2010 and 11, amount allocated per day to lift person out of poverty was inadequate. Well, this is an incorrect statement. Let us look at the statement here. Few are willing to accept the official position that 32 rupees a day in urban areas or 26 rupees a day in rural areas was adequate to lift a person out of poverty. So, well, although a lot of people thought of the amount to be inadequate, it actually was inadequate or not, this is not known to us. So this cannot be the correct statement. The second statement is also incorrect because the passage only says that the government is finding it difficult to offer a credible estimate of a consumption basket and level of expenditure. This does not mean that the government has not been able to provide a definition of poverty as suggested in the statement. So this can also be not a correct statement. Therefore, the answer will be option D. Which of the statements is the author most likely to agree with? The rural poverty line should not be differentiated from the urban poverty line. Well, this is incorrect because the passage does not say if the two poverty lines should be differentiated. Therefore, we can quickly eliminate option A as well as option C. Let's see if statement 1 is correct or not. There is a need to define the minimally acceptable level of consumption expenditure in order to fix a poverty line in the country. Well, this statement can be inferred from the line which says rather than seeking a number that sets a cap on access to state programs, it should define what in the current historical and social context could be considered a minimally acceptable level of consumption expenditure. So yes, this is a correct statement. So the answer will be B. Well, if you look at statement 3, this is related to the first paragraph. Let's go back to the first paragraph. Third are the estimates of the incidence of poverty at the level of the nation and the states yielded by the official poverty lines, which are seen as too low to be acceptable. So statement 3 cannot be directly inferred from this line. Therefore, this cannot be the correct statement. And with this, we can also eliminate option C and option D. The methodology adopted by the new group on poverty should be based on sound principle. We know that the last paragraph of the passage attempts to provide a suitable methodology for estimating the incidence of poverty in the country and defining its poverty line. Therefore, this is a correct statement. Statement 1 is incorrect because no principles have been defined in the passage. Therefore, the answer will be option B. The passage here tells us about a musical instrument called the veena. This has been described as a complete instrument. The remaining passage here tells us about the reasons for which it has been described as a complete instrument. Sir C.V. Raman has described the veena as having a unique construction, and again the remaining passage describes its unique construction as per Sir C.V. Raman. The third and the fourth paragraphs are related to a particular kind of veena called the Thanjavur veena, which is one of the most ancient and revered musical instruments of South India. The remaining parts of the paragraphs describe the uniqueness and special features of Thanjavur veena. Let us look at the questions now. Why has the author described the veena as a complete instrument? We just read it that this phrase complete instrument was there in the first paragraph itself. So we know that we have to refer to the first paragraph. This is again a fact-based passage, and as we have already discussed, fact-based passages generally asks you some kind of specific information, and you just need to go back to that particular information in the passage. So we will look for complete instrument. The reason the veena is described as a complete instrument is because it provides all basic components of classical music as described here. There is Shruti and Lay in a single instrument, which is the veena. So this is definitely a correct statement. Now let's see if second and third are or not. It is synonymous with music. It provides all the basic components of classical music. Well, these are also described in the passage, in the first paragraph itself. But are these the reasons why the veena has been called a complete instrument? No. It is very clearly mentioned that veena has been described a complete instrument because the 4 playing strings and the 3 drone strings of the veena together provide all the basic components of classical music. So this is the only reason why it has been described as a complete instrument. Statement 2 and 3, they are factually correct because they are described here in the other part of the passage, other part of the paragraph, but they do not support the fact that the veena is a complete instrument. So these two cannot be the correct statements. So we'll go by A. Consider the following statements about musical instruments. Well, for the first statement, let's refer to the second paragraph, which spoke about the unique construction of the veena. So this line here, also the frets have much more curvature than any other instrument, supports our first statement that says the frets in a guitar are less curved as compared to the frets in a veena. So yes, this supports statement 1. The veena has been described as unique only because of its curved string terminations. Well, the use of the word only here makes this statement incorrect because as the passage does not mention the design as the only reason, so we cannot go by this statement. Hence our answer will be option A. According to the passage, why is Thanjavur veena said to be one of the most ancient and revered musical instruments of South India? All ragas can be played on the Thanjavur veena. The style of presenting Carnatic music has developed around the Thanjavur veena technique. Like we have already discussed, this particular kind of veena has been described in the third and the fourth paragraphs. So we'll go back to those. So that all ragas could be played, all right. And the fixing of the frets paved the way for the development of the famous scheme of Carnatic music system. This is also there. So these two statements are factually correct, but they are not mentioned in the passage as the reason for the Thanjavur veena to be called one of the most ancient and revered musical instruments of South India. So these cannot be the correct answer because they are not related to the question asked to us. So neither 1 nor 2 will be our answer. Which of the following statements is correct as per the passage? The Thanjavur veena could play all the ragas as its frets could be adjusted. Well, this is there in the second paragraph. This line here says that this design enables a continuous control over the string tension which produces more harmonics than any other instrument. It produces more harmonics than any other instrument, but it does not say that all ragas can be played on the Thanjavur veena. So the first statement cannot be correct. Let's look at the second statement. The style of presenting Carnatic music has developed around the Thanjavur veena. The second statement of question 12 says that apart from the veena, flute and mridangam, no other instruments have references as celestial musical instruments from Vedic times. This is absolutely factually correct, and it is present in the fourth line of the first paragraph. It is one of the three celestial musical instruments having references from Vedic times along with the flute and the mridangam. So option B is the correct answer. Let's see why C and D are not. So C.V. Raman was an avid veena player. This is nowhere in the passage, so this is absolutely factually incorrect. Raghunath Nayak is considered as the father of the Thanjavur veena based on the valuable work done by S. Krishnaswamy. Although it is there in the passage that Raghunath Nayak is considered as the father of Thanjavur veena, but it is not by the valuable work of S. Krishnaswamy. It is not through his work, but he is generally considered to be the father of Thanjavur veena. So we cannot go by this. What is the primary purpose of the last two paragraphs of the passage? We've already discussed this, that the last two paragraphs talk about this particular kind of veena called Thanjavur veena, and it is basically they describe the uniqueness and special features of this particular veena. So I can see this option here to describe the uniqueness and special features of Thanjavur veena. Now option A is not correct because the reasons for getting the geographical indication tag are not mentioned, and the statement is talking about the reasons. So this is incorrect. To describe the process of making this particular kind of veena, this is also incorrect because the process of making the veena is not described. Only the unique location and material used to make it are mentioned in the passage. So this is also incorrect. To explain the history of Thanjavur veena, well, this is, though factually correct, is still incorrect because the emphasis of the third paragraph is on the special features of the veena, such as fixed frets, development of Carnatic music, etc., and not on the history, explaining of history. So this is also not the correct answer. The passage here talks about apprenticeship programs, which are an effective way of ensuring that entry-level workers have the skills required to join the formal workforce. This program is closely related to learning on the job as well as earning while learning. The further paragraphs discuss particularly about India and apprenticeship programs followed here, and what is the role of education in this particular respect. The third paragraph talks about several countries who have benefited from such programs. And the final paragraph talks about the structure and rules which are related to apprenticeship programs in India. It says that they are very complex and burdensome. According to the passage, which of the following are the possible outcomes of formalizing and scaling up apprenticeship programs in India? Well, the second statement here says that it can aid several important transitions the labor force is making. This is discussed in the second paragraph, where it says that they can aid 5 important transitions that the labor force is currently making, from agriculture to non-agriculture, from rural to urban, from the unorganized sector to the organized, from school to work, and from subsistence self-employment to wage employment. So this is a correct statement. The third statement says it can reduce the costs incurred on training employees. This is discussed in the last part of the third paragraph, where it says a task force report on apprentices in the UK demonstrated that the benefits of apprenticeships were numerous, including increased productivity, lower net cost of training, greater staff retention, and a more highly motivated workforce. So through this, we can validate statement 3 as well, that it can reduce costs incurred on training employees. It is very clearly given in this particular paragraph that we just read. The first statement says it can help in meeting the 80% shortfall in the higher education system needed in India by 2030. Well, this is an incorrect statement, as apprenticeship program aims to place the employer at the heart of education and not to bridge the shortfall in the higher education system. So there is no connection with the shortfall, the bridging the shortfall in higher education system. Therefore, the answer will be option C. According to the passage, which of the following problems are plaguing apprenticeship programs in India? Well, if you look at statement 2, this is an incorrect statement, as it does not state that the problem plaguing the program, rather it states the reason for the requirement of the program. You can refer to the line in the last paragraph here, which says that it is onerous to create new apprenticeship positions, and there are several vacancies even in positions that have already been created. So as per this is an incorrect statement. Thus we can also eliminate option C and option D. Let's see if 3 is the correct statement or not, otherwise our answer will be option B. There are no provisions to incentivize corporates to hire apprentices. This is also an incorrect statement, because nowhere in the passage has it been mentioned that corporates have been given no incentives. This line is related to the part of the paragraph that is given here, which says a simpler set of provisions to streamline regulation and incentivize corporates while protecting the interest and well-being of apprentices may now be needed. So it says a simpler set of provisions is now needed. It doesn't mean that there have been no incentives. So this cannot be the correct statement. Thus we are left with only statement 1, which says the ministries responsible for overseeing the programs have a complex organizational structure. This statement can be validated from the last paragraph. The Ministry of Labour and Employment oversees trade apprentices through 6 regional offices. The Ministry of Human Resource Development oversees graduate and technician apprentices through 4 boards located in different cities. Thus, this is a correct statement. The author is referring to a disconnect in the second paragraph of the passage. What is the disconnect between? So this is a very specific question that is referring to some specific information, the disconnect that has been discussed in the second paragraph. So whenever a specific question is asked, you have to just go back to that particular part of the passage and look for that information only. So this is discussed in the second paragraph, where it says that this is compounded by the inability of much of the current education system to produce work-ready labor. In fact, the disconnect becomes even very acute in times of rapid structural and technological change. So here the author is referring to the disconnect between the skills provided by educational institutes and the skills needed by employers, which renders statement C as correct. It says the skills provided to youth by the formal education system and the requirements of the employers. The supply and demand of labor has not been discussed. The entry level of workers has again not been discussed, and the skills provided by the current education system and skills taught on the job. Although this is a little related to this option, But we know that, as we have already validated the statement C, we know that it is related to the skills provided to youth by the formal education and the requirements of the employers, and it has nothing to do by the skills provided by the current education and the skills taught on the job. So there is a difference between these two statements. Consider the following statements about apprenticeship programs launched in different countries. A number of countries that have launched apprenticeship programs have greatly benefited by improving the skill set of their workforce. Well, this can be validated from the paragraph that talks about several countries launching this program. It says that these countries have benefited greatly from focused programs that improve the skills of the workforce on the job. Germany, in particular, has a well-known dual education system that combines classroom and online courses at a vocational school with workplace experience at a company. So yes, according to this, statement 1 is correct. Let's see if 2 is or not. Over 75% of Germans below the age of 22 have equipped themselves with job-ready skills by attending apprenticeship programs. This is also related to the same paragraph, which says more than 75% of Germans below the age of 22 have attended an apprenticeship program. Training apprentices also benefits corporates. So this particular line clearly states that more than 75% of Germans below the age of 22 have attended the apprenticeship program. But we cannot conclude that the same percentage of Germans have been able to equip themselves with job-ready skills, as we do not know the success rate of these programs. Therefore, we cannot say that statement 2 is correct. So with this we can eliminate this, and as we know that 1 is correct, so 1 is only available in this option, so we need not even look at statement 3. Consider the following statements about apprenticeship programs in India. The government has intentionally put rigid restrictions on these programs to limit the number of apprentices so as to prevent companies from hiring cheap labor under its guise. Well, this is an incorrect statement because the government has not placed these restrictions to limit the number of apprentices, but only to safeguard their interest, as stated in the passage. This is given here. One of the reasons for tightly regulating apprenticeships was to prevent companies from hiring cheap labor under the guise of an apprenticeship program. Thus, this is an incorrect statement. Statement 2 is also incorrect because India was among the first countries to form the institution of apprenticeship. This is not supported by the facts given in the passage. Thus, the answer will be neither 1 nor 2. This passage here deals with different methods of land reforms that can increase efficiency in agriculture. Also, the author discusses policies which will strengthen the ownership rights of landowners. Let us have a look at the questions. According to the passage, different methods of land reforms can increase efficiency in agriculture as well. This first statement, we can look in the third paragraph for it. Here it says lifting these restrictions can help the landless or more efficient landowners get land from those who migrate. So this means efficient farmers will not get the right but will be able to take the land on lease. Therefore, this statement is incorrect, as it does not mention that they will be able to take it on lease. Farmers will be able to access credit with ease as their titles will be legally valid. Well, accessing credit with ease is not discussed in the passage. Therefore, this is also an incorrect statement. So the answer will be neither 1 nor 2. According to the passage, the NLRMP aims to, we just need to go to the part of the passage that talks about this particular information, which is paragraph 2. The second statement of this question says facilitate transfer of land over internet. Facilitating transfer of land over internet has not been discussed in this paragraph. So second statement will be incorrect because there is no mention of the internet. And with this we can also eliminate option D and option C. Now let's see if option 4, as in statement 4, is correct or not. Secure the legal rights of landowners by removing uncertainties. Well, this is a correct statement, and it is there in the second paragraph, which talks about NLRMP. It says digitization will help enormously in lowering the cost of land transactions, while conclusive title will eliminate legal uncertainty. So fourth is a correct statement, and fourth is only available in option B, so this will be the answer. In the context of the given passage, the author is discussing policies which will, well, if you see option 1 and 3 here, these two are the indirect outcomes of the policies that the author is discussing, while statement 2 is the direct outcome of the policy: strengthen ownership rights of landowners. So 2 only will be the answer. Let's look at the next question. On migrating, landowners prefer to leave the land untilled as they are fearful of losing ownership due to long-term leasing. Well, this is an incorrect statement. This can be validated from the third paragraph. It says widespread prohibition of land leasing raises the cost of rural-urban migration, as villagers are unable to lease their land and often have to leave the land untilled or leave a family member behind to work on the land. So according to this, the fear of losing ownership comes only into the picture when these restrictions are lifted, which is clear by the next line. Lifting these restrictions can help the landless or more efficient landowners get land from those who migrate. Hence, statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2 is also incorrect because in the scheme, the owners are not shifted to a different area but only part with a portion of their land so as to enhance the value of the remaining portion. Therefore, this is also incorrect and our answer will be option D. Consider the following statements. Statement 2 says that the government must give priority to the rights of the people displaced by developmental works over the need for economic growth. This is absolutely incorrect because it is very clearly mentioned in the passage that a balance has to be drawn between the need for economic growth and the costs imposed on the displaced. A balance has to be drawn between the need for economic growth and the cost imposed on the displaced. While this statement is talking about giving priority to the rights of the people who are displaced. So therefore this is incorrect. With this, option C is incorrect and option D is also incorrect. Let's look at statement 1 now. The central government must direct the states to mandatorily implement land reforms. Well, this statement has not been discussed in the passage. The central government directing the states to implement the land reform, this has not been discussed. So therefore this is also incorrect. Thus we are only left with statement 3, which must be the correct answer. Also, this is correct as per the last line of the fourth and the fifth paragraph. As experience is gained with large-scale land acquisition, the institutions set up by the Act can be fine-tuned to achieve its aims. Also, given that large-scale land acquisition is still at a nascent stage, central schemes should allow room for states to experiment and should be modified in light of state experiences. Therefore, statement 3 is the correct answer. The passage here talks about water management in South Asia. It discusses three factors that are responsible for the prevalence of a flawed concept of water management. The first factor is discussed in the second paragraph, which talks about the flawed education on water management. It says that our understanding of water is viewed only in terms of its chemical composition and not in terms of its relevance in our society and in everyday use. The second factor discussed is developmentality, which says that the craze for land-centric development is there rather than water-centric development. Finally, the third paragraph tells us that the government, the state, has its rights over the water, and it is no longer under the control of people, the user. So let us look at the questions now. Why do we continue to adopt a land-centric approach to water management in South Asia? The state needs to prioritize land-based development to boost growth and reduce widespread poverty. Well, the angle of poverty has not at all been discussed in the passage, so we can quickly eliminate it. Thus, we can also eliminate option B and option C. So let us look at statement number 3. If this is correct, then our answer will be D. If not, then our answer will be A. Colonized mindset, which gives priority to land over water, continues to be prevalent in South Asia. Well, this is clearly given in the third paragraph, where the author says that with the mind colonized, indeed dazzled by modernity's appetite for land, post-colonial South Asia continues to ignore water in development, from transportation, tourism to building housing infrastructure. So yes, third statement is a correct statement, hence our answer will be D. The author's main aim in writing the passage is, this I have already discussed while giving you the overview of the passage, that the passage, highlights the flawed concepts of water management that are prevalent in South Asia, and it gives us the reasons for it. The author discusses three flawed concepts: the flawed concept related to education, then related to developmentality, and finally related to statism. So this is our answer. What does the author imply by saying water, in particular river water, has succumbed to statism? This is very simple. When the author says that water, in particular river, has succumbed to statism, it's very clear that the state controls the rights over water. We can refer to the last paragraph to validate this statement. Let's read the line: for reasons of profit, politics and power, water is now under the control of the state and the government. So this is very clearly mentioned, that the state controls the rights over water. Here option A is incorrect because the dynamic or static nature of policies has not been discussed in the passage. Also, options C and D are incorrect as they are outcomes of water succumbing to statism. So these cannot be the correct answer. According to the passage, which of the following statements would the author support? Let's see statement number 4. The state should not assert any rights over water. Well, the author just tells us that the state asserts rights over water. He does not make any comment as such as to whether the state should do it or not. So this is definitely an incorrect statement. So with this we can also eliminate option B and D. Now see if option 3, statement 3 is there or not. Water management policies must be formulated keeping in mind the developmental needs of the country. Again, the author is just giving out the facts. He's just telling us that the focus is on land-centric approach and not on water-centric approach, but he is not again making any comments whether what kind of policies should be formulated and what not. So this is also an incorrect statement. This option C can also not be the answer. So we're left with only one option, which is A, and this is our answer. Consider the following statements. H2OP4 was formulated as the definition of water to better understand the degree of governmental control over water. No, because this was rather formulated to better understand the societal implications of water, not the governmental control over water. So this is an incorrect statement. Statement 2 is also incorrect because no such thing has been stated in the passage. The passage only says that citizens give consent to it on grounds of statist compulsions. So this is also an incorrect statement. Thus the answer is neither 1 nor 2. Let us look at passage number 6 of the paper. This passage here talks about the elephants in India who are at the crossroads. Well, this is a fact-based passage. A fact-based passage generally asks you about some specific information, and in order to answer the question, you just have to go back to that particular part of the passage where that information has been discussed. The author then tells us about the long past of this animal. Elephants have been there for at least 3.5 million years. Apart from that, the author also talks about the conflict of these animals with humans. The second paragraph tells us about the presence of animals in Indian art, in Vedas and Indian sculptures. The third paragraph talks about the measures that used to be taken in historian times in order to protect these animals. The final paragraph talks about the problem that the elephant is facing in the present scenario, which is the attrition of their habitat, that is reduction in their habitat, and the author then tells us about the various reasons responsible for this. They are the crowded landscape, also they are killed for ivory. Apart from that, the construction work related to highways and mines and dams and bridges is also responsible for attrition of their habitat. Let us look at the questions now. Why does the author say that the elephants in India are at the crossroads? They have peacefully existed alongside humans for thousands of years, and now it is the first time ever that the species is facing conflict by humans. No, this is not true. This is not the first time that the species is facing conflict by humans. This we can validate from the first paragraph itself, which says that conflict with these large neighbors is not new, but its intensity and scale are without precedent. So this is not new, although the intensity and scale has now increased. So we can mark this incorrect. They no longer have protection against poaching due to immense pressure on land. This also has not been discussed in the passage. The author nowhere says that they are not protected now. So this is also an incorrect option. They have persisted in India for thousands of years, but now their survival is being threatened because of the destruction of their habitat. Yes, this is true. This we have already discussed in the last paragraph, where it is clearly mentioned that the problem for elephant is one of attrition of habitat. Also, the very first line says that the elephant in India is at the crossroads. So we can mark option C as our correct answer. According to the author, which of the following are the reasons for the persistence of elephants over large parts of their historic range? The government in Madras Presidency banned the killing of elephants, which was later also implemented by British India. Well, this is an incorrect information because it has not been stated that the killing was banned. It was only regulated. This is given in the third paragraph. The government asserted its right to capture and qualified when and where they could be killed. So this means that the killing was regulated, not that it was banned. So this cannot be the correct answer. As per the prescription of the Arth Shastra, elephant poachers were given harsh death penalty in India during Historian age. Well, this is also there in the third paragraph. You can find this word Arth Shastra here and you know where to look. The Arth Shastra has prescribed the harsh death penalty for poachers in elephant forests. So this is a correct statement. So our answer will be option B. Consider the following statements. The destruction of their habitat is the only reason elephants are dying and measures must be taken to prevent this. Well, this is an incorrect statement because we have already read that elephants are also killed, especially the male elephants, for ivory. So destruction of habitat is not the only reason that they are dying. They're also being killed for ivory. So this is incorrect. So now when we know that one is incorrect, we can quickly mark option A, option B and option C as also incorrect. In any way, we are left with only one option. So second and third statements we do not even need to read. We know that this must be correct. Consider the following statements about depiction of elephants in Indian art. The elephants had become a recurrent theme in Indian art from the Harappan times. There are many sculptures from Mauryan times depicting elephants. Well, this information is shared in the second paragraph where it talks about the presence of elephants in Indian art. Statement 1 is incorrect as it is not mentioned that it became a recurrent theme by that time. It is nowhere mentioned here. Apart from that, if we consider statement 2, this can be inferred from the line, although the famous Harappan seal is the first depiction of the elephant in Indian art, the sculptures during the Mauryan Empire started depicting the elephant as the central motive, as a central leitmotif. So statement 2 is correct while statement 1 is incorrect. So option B is our answer. Well, this passage here talks about milk production in India. It tells us how India has not been able to keep pace with the domestic demand for milk. Furthermore, it also states that this demand will only increase more in future. The third paragraph tells us about the low productivity of our animals. Also, it gives out various reasons for the same. Finally, the passage concludes by saying that there is a strong need to focus on production and productivity in order to stabilize the high prices. Let's look at the questions now. Consider the following statements about the demand for milk in India. It is expected to grow faster in urban areas than in rural areas. Well, this statement is incorrect as it has not been mentioned in the passage. The passage merely says that urban centers will demand more processed products. You can find this information in the second paragraph, which talks about India not being able to keep pace with the domestic demand. It says further urban centers will demand more and more processed and packaged dairy products. It does not talk about milk in general. It is talking about packaged dairy products. So this statement cannot be correct. Urgent steps are needed to meet future demand in order to avoid resorting to imports. Yes, this is given in the first line of the last paragraph. Considering its requirement, the milk must increase at around 5.5% per annum. If it fails to do so, India may need to resort to imports from the world market. So yes, this is a correct statement. So we'll go by option B. Consider the following statements. Milk producing animals in India yield less milk on an average as compared to the ones in other countries. Well, this is related to the statement we just read about the low productivity of our animals. So this is not a correct statement because the author does not make any comparison with other countries. He merely says that the productivity of our animals is low. So this is not a correct statement. Now we can quickly eliminate option A because it contains the first statement. Vaccinations given to milk producing animals do not yield desired results. Well, this is also an incorrect statement because the problem is the lack of vaccinations and not its effectiveness. This we can find in the reasons that were given for low productivity of our animals. Here it is. It says lack of vaccinations and not ineffectiveness of vaccinations. So this is not a correct statement, and thus we can also eliminate option B. Let's see if fourth statement is correct or not. Dairy farmers do not have access to finance from formal channels of credit. Well, this is also an incorrect statement because if you look at the third paragraph, it talks about inadequate access to formal credit mechanisms. It talks about inadequate access while the statement says that they do not have access. So there is a difference. So this is also an incorrect statement. This option C can also not be the answer. Thus we are left with option D, none of these. Which of the following statements is true in context of the given passage? Production of milk in India is greater than that in other developing countries. Well, the first paragraph only talks about the per capita availability of milk in comparison to developing countries and not about the production of milk in general. Here it is. Even though the level of per capita availability at 263 gram per day for India is much lower than that in developed countries, it is well above the developing country average. So here it is talking about only the per capita availability and not about the production of milk. So this definitely cannot be a correct statement. Demand for milk in India is greater than the demand for milk in other developing countries. Well, this is also an incorrect statement because no comparison is made with other countries in this respect. Supply of milk in India is greater than that in other developing countries. This is again an incorrect statement because per capita supply is higher in India than the average of other developing countries and not all developing countries. So our answer will be none of the above. Consider the following statements about the price of milk in India. Action is needed on both the demand and supply side to stabilize prices. No, this we have already read in the last paragraph where it says that a strong supply response with focus on production and productivity can only keep the prices stable. So it does not talk about demand here, it only talks about supply. So action is needed, yes, but not on both demand and supply, only on supply. So this cannot be the correct statement. Recent price hikes were caused due to demand outstripping production. Yes, this is a correct statement and this can be validated from the last paragraph itself, where it talks about recent hikes in prices of milk and milk products have been a matter of concern. The gap between domestic demand for milk and production of milk has put upward pressure on milk prices in the country. So yes, this is a correct statement. So our answer will be option B. This particular passage is about foreign exchange reserves. Let us look at the questions. According to the passage, which of the following statements is correct about the RBI? There is one thing common in these three statements. They're talking about RBI's primary focus. And if you read the passage, you'll see that the passage nowhere mentions the primary focus of RBI. The passage only talks about RBI's involvement in the foreign exchange market, and it is completely silent about its main focus. So we can very quickly eliminate all these three options, as primary focus is not at all discussed in the passage. Therefore, our answer will be option D. What does the author mean by international numeracy? Well, here we get a particular term, and whenever you get a particular term, you need to refer to that part of the passage. So let's see where international numeracy is discussed. It is there in the first paragraph itself, in the last line. It says that reserves are denominated and expressed in the US dollar, which is the international numeracy for the purpose. So this renders option C is correct, which says the price of all currencies are expressed in terms of their relative price to the US dollar. Options A and B are not mentioned in the passage. There is no mention of US dollar being the primary currency for used for trading, or being the most circulated currency in the global economy. Which of the following statements align with the author's view on building up foreign exchange reserves? Statement 1 is related to the second last paragraph, where it says, such a multilateral option, however, is necessary but not sufficient, as foreign investors often view the size of foreign exchange reserves as a key input in taking investment. So this says that multilateral options are necessary, but they are not sufficient, which does not align with this statement. Therefore, this is incorrect. Statement 2 is also incorrect because it is mentioned that the cost of building reserves can be debated, but the author does not explicitly state that it hurt India. So therefore, this is also incorrect. So the answer will be neither 1 nor 2. Consider the following statements about India's foreign exchange reserves. So this is a particular question which talks about India's foreign exchange reserves. And if you see option 1 and option 2, they both are talking about this foreign exchange reserve being increasing. It is increasing. The government has targeted a constant increase of reserves. So, however, in the passage there is no discussion on these reserves being increasing, and also there is also that there is any such government policy. So both of these statements are incorrect. With this we can also eliminate these three options, and we are automatically left with only one option, which is 3. It is dependent on volatile investments whose inflow in India is more than the country's absorbing capacity. Well, this is there in the last line of the passage, which says India falls in the latter category, wherein reserves comprise mainly portfolio investment, which are more vulnerable to sudden stops and reversals and borrowings from abroad. So statement 3 is the correct statement. The passage here talks about sharing of water resources and the present flawed approach to it. The second paragraph particularly discusses India's flawed approach in this respect, while the third and the fourth paragraph discuss the flaws in international laws and the possible downsides of relying on them. Let's have a look at the question. The first question is, what is the central theme of the passage? Whenever you get a question on central theme, you just need to focus on the central idea, the main idea that the author has provided. What is the main purpose of authors writing this text? This is what is meant by central theme. So we just need to focus on the author's purpose of writing this text in the first place. So we have already discussed it, that the passage is mainly about flaws in the present approach to water sharing, and I can see this in option C. The passage discusses the flaws in the present approach to water sharing on an international level. So this is our answer. The first option is only a part of the last two paragraphs, so this cannot be the answer. The passage discusses the need for a paradigm shift in India's approach to water sharing. India is also just one aspect discussed in the passage. The passage discusses the methodology of water sharing. Not really, the methodology has not been discussed in the passage. It's mainly the flaws that the author is trying to demonstrate, that the author is trying to put forth. According to the passage, which of the following is are correct about water sharing? The countries concerned should have special mitigation scenarios planned for times when water is scarce. Well, this statement can be found in the last line of paragraph 2, where it says that while for the present water is available, though seasonally scarce, rising populations, urban and agriculture demands, and climate change could result in water scarcity in the coming years, and so there is urgent need for the countries of the region to come up with win-win solutions. So this renders statement 1 correct. Statement 2 is incorrect, as the passage does not talk about any strict timelines. It only states that there is an urgent need. There is no mention of any timeline or any strict timeline, so we cannot go with this. So the answer will be A. According to the passage, what are the issues with international laws in water sharing? We've already discussed that international laws in water sharing has been discussed in the third and the fourth paragraphs. Unlike domestic laws, they have no enforcement mechanism. Well, the first line of the third paragraph renders this statement true. International law is not a particularly useful guide here. It does not have the force of domestic law, and neither is there agreement on just what constitutes international law on the matter of river water sharing. So it states that international laws do not have the forces of domestic laws, thus making this statement correct. At the same time, this renders statement 3 also correct. If you read the line, on just what constitutes international law on the matter of river water sharing. So according to this, statement 3 is also correct. Let's have a look at statement 4 now. Laws on river sharing have very generic guidelines, and it is difficult to adapt them to specific scenarios. Well, this is an incorrect statement, because the passage states that there are several general principles. It does not state that there are generic guidelines. So because of this is incorrect. So we have our answer 1 and 3, because this cannot be the answer. And because 3 is already correct, so this is our answer. Consider the following statements. SARC does not deliberate on water sharing and climate changes issues. Well, this is absolutely incorrect, as the passage states that these issues are not seriously discussed in SARC, and not that they are not discussed at all. So because it says that SARC does not deliberate on water sharing issues, it will become an incorrect statement. India's disputes with China over border demarcation have hampered water sharing negotiation. This has been discussed in the second paragraph, where the passage talks about India's dispute with China, thus rendering this statement correct. So the answer is option B. The question here gives a statement called powerful are famous. Which of the following statements, if true, would contradict the above statement? Well, according to this statement, it is clear that there is not one powerful who is not famous. However, there are several famous who are not powerful. Thus, according to this, option B is the right answer. The question here contains 6 statements followed by 4 sets of combination of 3. We have to choose the set in which the statements are logically related. So let us look at option A, that contains statements 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Some flowers are leaves, all leaves are lilies, all flowers are lilies. Well, all flowers may or may not be lilies, hence option A does not follow. Therefore, this is incorrect. Let's look at option C. All lilies are flowers, all lilies are leaves, all flowers are leaves. Well, flowers is not necessarily a subset of leaves, hence option C also does not follow. Let's see if option B follows or not. All leaves are lilies, all lilies are flowers, some flowers are leaves. Leaves is a subset of lilies and lilies is a subset of flowers. Therefore, some flowers will definitely be lilies, hence option B is the correct answer. Here option A says some parrots are hot, all parrots are chilly, all chilly are hot. Well, all chilly may or may not be hot, hence option A does not follow. Option B says some parrots are chilly, some chilly are hot, no parrots are hot. Well, the subset of parrots and that of hot may or may not overlap, hence option B does not follow. All parrots are chilly, some parrots are hot, and some chilly are hot. The subset of chilly will definitely intersect with the subset of hot, hence option C is the correct answer. Let's look at the next question. The first option says all cushions are comfortable, all comfortable are nice, only cushions are nice. Well, some comfortable which are not cushion are also nice, hence option A does not follow. In option B, nice and comfortable may be disjoint sets, hence option B also does not follow. In option C, the subset of cushion will definitely intersect with the subset of nice, hence this is the correct answer. The next question is in option A, the set of scientists may or may not be subset of engineers, hence option A definitely follows. Why are the other options incorrect? Let's see. In option B, the set of scientists may or may not intersect with the subset of astronauts, hence B cannot follow. And in option C, since some scientists and astronauts, the set of astronauts can never be a subset of engineers, hence option C cannot follow. So the answer will be option A. Let us have a look at the question numbers 68 and 69 of the paper. The direction says select the statement which logically follows the two given statements. In the first question, it says some cheaters are not dacoits, all dacoits are dull. Therefore, well, it is clear that some cheaters may or may not be dull, and all cheaters may or may not be dull. Hence, option D is the answer. The second question says tigers are birds, only birds are worms. Therefore, we can say that some birds are definitely tigers because tigers is a subset of birds. Hence, option B is the correct answer, which is some birds are tigers. So here we have some questions on decision making. These questions do not carry any negative marking. They are meant to test your power of making quick, reasoned, and logical decisions. The basic approach should be to identify the exact problem given in the question and move towards to pick up the best solution out of the available solutions. So let's move on to the first question. It says that you are the ambassador to a country that is rife with terrorism. It further tells us that one of your officers has been kidnapped by a terrorist group, and the terrorist group has now asked for a ransom. So what should you be doing in such a situation? Let's look at the options. You should request the country to provide extra protection to the embassy till the issue is resolved, or you should inform the country's police authorities about the kidnapping and the ransom note. You should inform the other officers of your embassy to avoid particular areas, or you should strictly follow the protocol recommended by your country in case of such exigencies. Well, it is very clear that a criminal offense has been committed in the country against an employee of the embassy. So it would be really necessary to inform the country's police authorities about it, because without the help of the police, I don't think you will be able to do anything. So being an ambassador, you should first inform the police authorities about the whole incident. Apart from that, if we look at option D, it says that you should strictly follow the protocol recommended by your country. This can also be an appropriate course of action. Apart from option B that we have already discussed, that you should inform the police authorities. Why option D should be the correct answer is because as an ambassador of an embassy, it is necessary that you stick to the protocol recommended by your own country, which is obviously based related to such exigencies. So option B and option D are appropriate course of actions in this particular situation. If we look at option A and C, they are basically focusing on providing more protection or informing, other officers to avoid particular areas and be cautious of the situation. But this is not the need of the hour. The need of the hour is to help the officer who has been kidnapped, and that is possible only either by taking help of the police authorities or by following the protocol recommended by your country. We won't be able to provide help to the officer who has been kidnapped by only providing extra protection to the embassy, or by informing the other officers to avoid particular areas. So we should focus on the need of the hour. So that is the main point here. So here we have one more question on decision making, which says that you are the HR manager in a fashion house company where a position for junior dress designer has fallen vacant. Your best friend's daughter has approached you for this position. She is currently working in some other profile and she does not hold any experience or any professional degree in the field of fashion. However, you know it for a fact that she is very creative and does dress designing for herself and many other people. What will you do in such a case? Appoint her to the post, since you know that she has a flair for dress designing and is very creative too. Well, this is an incorrect option, because here you are not giving any importance to experience and qualification, which should be the main criteria to appoint somebody in a certain position in an organization. You're just merely considering her passion for the for dress designing. So that will be incorrect on your part. Do not appoint her, because if you do, other employees in the organization will accuse you of being partial and unfair. Well, this is also negated because it outlines the reasons other than merit for rejecting the application, and this would be very unprofessional on your part. So this is also incorrect. Advise her to intern with your organization for some time. Give her suitable position in the company after evaluating her company. Yes, this can be a correct answer. It is advisable that you objectively evaluate her candidature and accordingly offer her position based on the kind of work she does. Apart from this, forward her application and sample work to the senior designer for evaluation and put her on a probationary period if he finds her candidature suitable. This is also a correct option, because keeping her on probation, you ensure that she is only given a position after she has proved her mettle in this particular field of work. So C and D are the correct courses of action. So here is another question on decision making. It says you are a professor in a college. During one of your important lectures, an irresponsible student arrives midway through and asks for permission to enter the classroom. So what will you do in such a situation? Will you allow him to enter the classroom while warning him not to repeat such behavior? Or will you insult him for coming late before allowing him to enter? Leave the classroom to take him to the principal's office and complain about his behavior, or give him permission to attend the lecture and later sit with him to discuss why he was late? If you look at option A and option D, in both these cases you're allowing the student and you're ensuring that he does not miss what is being taught in the class. In option A, by warning him in front of the class, you have ensured that the entire class gets this message regarding punctuality. So option A is definitely a correct answer, and also option D is an appropriate course of action, because here also you are making sure that the student does not miss his lecture, and also later you are advising him about the importance of being punctual. Now if you look at option B, it is an incorrect option, because this will not help the student in any way. Insulting a student in front of the whole class is not a very good idea on a part of a professor or a teacher. As a teacher, as a professor, it is your duty, first of all, that your students should not feel disrespectful, be disrespected by you. Also in option C, leaving the classroom to take the student to the principal's office is also not a good idea, because an important lecture is going on, and if you leave the classroom in between, it will only distract the other students. Also, as a professor, you are in a position to take decisions on such matters, and there is no need to get the principal involved in this. So both option A and option D are suitable courses of actions. So here we have a question on decision making, which says that you are the police commissioner of an area where a politician's son has opened a new restaurant bar. He starts off the operations in the bar even before he has obtained the liquor license. What will you do on being reported of this issue? Ignore the matter, since the owner of the restaurant bar is a politician's son. Well, this is absolutely an incorrect answer, because ignoring the issue just because the restaurant bar owner is a politician's son will be a case of dereliction of duty on your part. Send your officers to immediately arrest the owner and shut down the restaurant bar is also not advisable, because there are other better solutions available, like option B, send a legal notice to the owner giving him time to act on it. By sending a legal notice to the owner, you are acting in a legal way, and you are also giving him time to act on the same. So this is a correct solution. Apart from that, you can also warn the owner and ask him to suspend the service of liquor until he obtains the liquor license. So this is also advisable, and this is also the correct answer. As a police commissioner, it will be wise on your part to go by the legal standards and act in a legal way. So both of these options are proper legal courses of actions.
Let us look at another question. By using side BC of triangle ABC as the base, another triangle BCD is constructed such that angle BC is equal to angle BDC and AC is parallel to BD. If the area of triangle ABC is 45 cm square, what is the area of triangle BDC? Let us suppose it is a triangle ABC, okay, and it is the base, okay. Another triangle BCD is constructed such that BAC equal to BDC, BAC equal to BDC and AC is parallel to BD. It is AC and let us suppose it is BD. Now AC is parallel to BD, okay, and BAC is equal to BDC, okay. Since AC and BD are parallel, so this angle and this angle will be equal. If angle BAC equal to angle BDC and angle ACB equal to angle CBD are equal, then angle ABC would be equal to angle BCD. So angle ABD equal to angle ACD, okay, and side BC is common to triangle ABC and triangle BDC. So ABC is similar to triangle DCB and BC is common to both the triangles. Ratio of the sides is equal to 1 and all the angles are equal, so both the triangles are congruent. And in the question it is given that the area of triangle ABC is 45 cm square, then obviously area of the triangle BDC would also be 45 cm square because angle ABC, so triangle ABC and the triangle BDC are congruent. So our answer is option B, that is 45 cm square. Let us look at another question. When the digits of a 2-digit number are reversed, the number increases by 27. How many values can the number assume? Okay, let us assume that the number is 10x plus y. After reversing the digits, the new number formed will be 10y plus x. Then the difference between this and this would be 10y plus x minus 10x minus y, that is equal to 9 into y minus x, and it is given in question that it is equal to 27. So y minus x equal to 3. What may be the possible values of y and x? Let us suppose if y is 4, then x is 1. If y is 5, then x is 2. Similarly, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, 5 and 9, 6. So 6 values are possible. So our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. Out of 460 employees in an organization, 240 employees are MBA, 160 are BTech and 45 are both MBA and BTech. How many employees in the organization are neither MBA nor BTech? Let us suppose this area represents employees who are MBA and this represents employee who are BTech. Okay, it represents MBA and it is BTech. Okay, 40 employees are MBA, it's 240 and 160 are BTech. Okay, and 45 are both MBA and BTech. So this area represents 45, this one. Okay, if it is 45 and this total is 240, then what it would be value? 195. Okay, similarly if it is 45, then this area would be 160 minus 45, that is 115. So total employees who are either MBA or BTech or both are 195 plus 45 plus 115 equal to 350. 355. Okay, and in the question it is asked that how many employees in the organization are neither MBA nor BTech. So this type of employees will be equal to 460 minus 355, that is equal to 105, and it is given in option number B. So our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. Atul, Yogesh and Riyaz can complete a piece of work in 12, 36 and 54 days respectively. They started the work together, but Atul left after working for 6 days and Yogesh left 8 days before completion of the work. In how many days was the work completed? Okay, in this type of questions you should always take the total units of work should be taken as LCM of the number of days taken. In this case, LCM of the number of days taken is 108. So total work taken would be 108 units. Okay, it is Atul, Yogesh and Riyaz. Atul will do 9 units in a day. Similarly, Yogesh will do 3 units in a day and Riyaz will do 2 units in a day. In this question, it is said that Atul left after working for 6 days. So first 6 days, all the three, Atul, Yogesh and Riyaz will do the work. So Atul, Yogesh and Riyaz will do 9 plus 3 plus 2 into 6, that is equal to 84 units of work. And it is given that the Yogesh left 8 days before completion of the work. It means in the last 8 days only Riyaz completes the work. So Riyaz will do 8 into 2, that is 16 units of work in the last 8 days. So total 84 plus 16, that is equal to 100 units of the work is completed. And the remaining 8 units of work will be completed by Yogesh and Riyaz in 8 by 5 days, because Yogesh and Riyaz will do 3 plus 2, it is 3 and it is 2 units of work in a day. So for 8 units they will take 8 by 5 days equal to 1 3 by 5 days. So total time taken equal to 8 plus 6 plus 1 3 by 5, that is 15 3 by 5 days, and it is given in option number D, hence our answer is option D. Let us look at another question. The ratio of the cost price of articles A and B is 4:5 respectively, and that of their selling price is 7:6 respectively. If the profit on selling article A is 40%, what is the profit or loss percentage on selling article B? Let us suppose the cost price of article A and B is equal to 40 and 50 rupees, and selling price is 7y and 6y. Okay, in the question it is given that the profit on selling article A is 40%. So selling price should be equal to 56, because 40 into 140 upon 100 equal to 56. If 7y equal to 56, then 6y will be equal to 56 upon 7 into 6, that is equal to 48. So selling price of article B would be 48 rupees and cost price of article B is given 50 rupees. So there is a loss of rupees 2 on rupees 50, hence percentage loss equal to 2 upon 50 into 100, that is equal to 4% loss, and it is given answer option B, hence our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. The speed of two trains which are traveling in the same direction are 54 and 81 km per hour. A policeman who is sitting in the faster train passes the slower train in 50 seconds. What is the length of the slower train? Okay. In this question, if you see it carefully, it is not given the position of the slower train and the faster train initially. Let us suppose it is faster train, slower train may be here. In the second case, if it is faster train, slower train may be here. Third case, if it is faster train, slower train may be somewhere else. So we cannot say what is the exact position of the slower train and faster train initially. So we cannot give the answer exactly that how much time the man sitting in the faster train passes the slower train. So answer is cannot be determined, hence our answer is option D. Let us look at another question. In how many ways can a committee of 5 members be formed out of 7 men and 4 women such that it comprises only 1 woman? Okay, we have to select, it is men and it is woman. We have to select only 1 woman, then obviously we have to select 4 men because total members are 5. Okay, the number of ways in which 4 men may be selected out of 7 men is 7C4, and the number of ways in which 1 woman would be selected from 4 women would be 4C1. That is equal to 7 factorial upon 4 factorial 3 factorial into 4 equal to 756 upon 1:2:3 into 4 equal to 35 into 4, that is equal to 140. Hence our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. The given bar graph given below represents the number of boys and girls in 5 different streams: HR, Finance, Marketing, IT and Operations in a BA school named MDP. Okay. In the bar graph, number of students are given for 5 different sectors, that is HR, Finance, Marketing, IT and Operations. In the first question, the number of girls from Finance stream is what percent of the number of boys from all the streams put together? Okay, the number of girls from Finance stream is equal to 2000, that is 2000, and the total number of boys from all the streams put together is equal to 3250 plus 2750 plus 3500 plus 2250 plus 4250, that is equal to 16,000, and the number of girls from Finance stream is 2000, so required percentage is equal to 2000 upon 16,000 into 100, that is equal to 1/8 into 100 equal to 12.5%. Hence our answer is option B. In the next question, for which stream is the number of boys as a percentage of the number of girls maximum? From the given graph, you can see that the difference between the graphs is maximum for marketing because difference is 1000. In this case, difference is less than 1000, and in all the cases exactly difference is less than 1000, and only in the case of marketing difference between the number of boys and number of girls is 1000. So answer for the question, the number of boys as a percentage of the number of girls maximum, will obviously marketing, hence answer is option C. For the next question, by what percent is the total number of boys more than the total number of girls in all the 5 streams put together? As in the previous question, we have determined the number of boys put together, that is equal to 16,000, and from the graph you can determine the number of girls put together, that is equal to 2750 plus 2000 plus 2500 plus 2750 plus 3750, that is equal to 13,750. Okay. So in the question, number of girls is equal to 13,750 and the number of boys is 16,000. So required percentage is equal to 16,000 minus 13,750 upon 13,750, that is equal to 2250 upon 13750 into 100, obviously because we are calculating percentage, that is equal to 16.36%. Hence our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. The table given below shows the number of parts of 6 different products produced during a period of 7 days. It is product and it is days. The first question, what is the absolute difference between the average of the number of parts produced of product B and that of product D during the given period? For this question, if you do it traditionally, then first of all you will find out the average of product B and average of product D, and then you will take the difference of the average of B and D. But we should do it by another method, in which we will take the difference of B and D on each day. Suppose for day 1, the difference between B and D is 7 minus 30, that is 40. 70 minus 30 equal to 40. For day 2, it is 40 minus 40, that is 0. For day 3, it is 40 minus 20, that is 20. For day 4, it is 60 minus 30, that is 30. For day 5, it is 30 minus 20, that is 10. For day 6, it is 40 minus 60, that is minus 20. You should must take it in consideration, the minus sign. And for the last day, that is day 7, it is 70 minus 80, that is minus 10. And now take the average of all these values, that is 40 plus 20, 60, 90, 100, minus 20, that is minus 8 plus 80, and minus 10, that is 70. And average of this would be 70 upon 7, that is 10. Hence our answer is option C. Next question, on which day was the total number of parts produced of all the products put together the minimum? There are 4 options, day 4, 5, 6 and 7. So we will only check for these 4 days, 4, 5, 6 and 7. On day 4, the total number of parts produced will be 40 plus 60. It is 40 plus 60 plus 70 plus 30 plus 50 plus 30, that is equal to 280. Similarly, for day 5, it would be 300. For day 6, it would be 310. And for day 7, it would be 360. And in the question, it is asked that all the products put together the minimum. So from here, it is easily seen that on day 4, the value would be minimum. Hence, our answer would be option A. Next question, for which 2 products was the number of parts produced during the given period same? Let us move on our table. For product A, the sum on the all days would be 50 plus 60 plus 50 plus 40 plus 90 plus 30 plus 50, that is equal to 370. Similarly, for product B, it would be 350. For product C, it would be 460. For product D, it would be 280. And for product E, it would be 400. And for F, it is 400. So we can see that the sum for product E and product F is same. And in the question, for which two products was the number of parts produced during the given period same. So obviously, as we can see from the table that for product E and F, the sum is same. So our answer is option D. In the next question, for how many products was the median of the number of parts produced over the given period not more than 50? Not more than 50 means it would be less than or equal to 50. Okay. And in this question, you must know about the median. What is the median? Median is the middle value of a given set of data when they are arranged in ascending order of their magnitude. Okay. So, if we determine the median for product A, we will ensure that, let us suppose it is day 7 days. Okay. And it is the middle data. So, it would be less than or equal to 50. Okay. We must ensure that at least 4 days, for first 4 days, the number of parts should be less than equal to 50. So for product A, it is less than equal to 50. In fact, it is equal to 50. Okay. It is also equal to 50. It is less than 50. It is less than 50. It is equal to 50. So the median for product A would be less than equal to 50. Okay. So A is qualified. Similarly for product B, it is less than 50, less than 50, less than 50, less than 50. So it is also qualified. For product C, equal to 50, equal to 50, we should have at least 4 data that is less than equal to 50. So product C is not qualified. For product D, less than 50, it is also less than 50, less than 50, less than 50 and less than 50. So product D is also qualified. And product E, it is equal to 50, less than 50, less than 50. Only 3 days is less than or equal to 50, so it is not qualified. And for product F, equal to 50, less than 50, less than 50. Only 3 values are less than or equal to 50, so it is also not qualified. Hence, only there are 3 products that are A, B and D for which median is less than or equal to 50. So our answer would be 3, that is given in answer option C. Hence our answer is option C. Let us look at another question. What is the probability that a natural number which is less than 500 and found by the using digits 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 9 without repetition is divisible by 5? Okay. In this question, first of all, we will find out the total number that is less than 500 that can be found using these digits. Okay. How many numbers of one digit or single digit will be found? Obviously 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 9. Okay. 6. Two digits number that can be found will be two digits number. Tens place can be filled with 6 digits, that is 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 9. 6. And unit digit will also be filled with 6 digits, 0 and 5 digits which are not used in filling 10 digits, that is 36. Similarly, for 3 digits number, this place can be filled with only 3 digits, that is 1, 3, 4, because the number formed should be less than 500. So it would be only 1 or 3 or 4. It can be filled in 3 ways. Okay. Tens place can be filled in 5 place can be filled in 6 ways, and unit place can be filled in 5 ways. So total 3 into 6 into 5, that is 90. So total 6 plus 36 plus 90, that is 132. numbers can be formed, that is less than 500. Okay, and the numbers out of these numbers that are divisible by 5, a number would be divisible by 5 if the number's units place is 0 or 5. So how many single digit numbers that is divisible by 5 out of these given digits is only one, that is 5. So it is 1. For two digit numbers that is divisible by 5 would be, if it is 0, then tens place can be 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 or 9. So it can be filled in 6 ways, and it can be filled in one ways, that is only 0. So total 6. And if it is 5, units place if it is 5, then tens place can be filled in 5 ways, that is 1, 3, 4, 8 and 9. So it is 5. If we talk about 3 digits number that will be divisible by 5, this place can be filled in 2 ways, that is 0 or 5. Okay, and this place, that is hundreds place, can be filled in 3 ways, because only 1, 3 and 4 can come here. So it can be filled in 3 ways, and tens place can be filled in 5 ways. So it is 30 plus 30, that is 42. Now probability that a natural number which is less than 500 and found by the digits without repetition is divisible by 5 equal to 42 upon 132, that is 7 by 22. Hence our answer is option D. Let us look at another question. The ratio of a two-digit number and sum of its digits is 9:1. If the absolute difference between the digits is 7, what is the number? The best way to solve this question is simply go through options. Option A, the required ratio is 18:9, that is 2:1. For option B, the required ratio is 81:8 plus 1, that is 9, equal to 9:1. For option C, it is 92:11, and for option C, it is 70:7 plus 0, that is 7, equal to 10:1. So our answer is simply 9:1, because in the question the ratio is given 9:1. So our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. Two pipes P1 and P2 can fill an empty tank in 15 minutes and 20 minutes respectively. If both of them are opened simultaneously into the empty tank, then after how much time in minutes must pipe P1 be turned off so that tank gets completely filled in 12 minutes? Okay, pipe P1 can fill an empty tank in 15 minutes and pipe P2 in 20 minutes. So P1 will work 1 by 15 part of the work in 1 minute. Similarly, pipe P2 will do 1 by 20 part of the work in 1 minute. Okay. In the question, it is given that after how much time must pipe P1 be turned off? Let us suppose that pipe P1 will be turned off after n second. P1 will work for 12 minus n minutes, because after n minutes P1 will turned off and P2 will work for 12 minutes completely. Okay. Since P1 is doing 1 by 15 parts of work in 1 minute, so P1 in 12 minus n minutes will do 12 minus n upon 15 units, and P2 will do 12 upon 20 parts of the work, and P1 and P2 will do the complete work, so it will be equal to 1. It is 60. 48 minus 4n plus 36 equal to 1, or 84 minus 4n equal to 60, or n equal to 84 minus 60 upon 4, that is 6. So our answer is option B. Let us look at another question. A century year can end with which of the following days? As we know that the number of odd days in the first 400 years is 0. If there is 0 odd days, then the day will be Sunday. Hence, we can say that a century year can end with Sunday. Hence, option A is satisfied. Now we don't need to check other 3 options. So our answer is obviously option A. Let us discuss another question. 5 friends A, B, C, D and E live in a 6-storied building including ground floor. B lives only above C. A lives immediately above E. D doesn't live on the top floor. If B lives on the second floor, who lives on the fourth floor? Okay. From the statement B lives only above C, let us suppose it is 6 stories and it is given that B lives only above C and it is ground floor, then it would be first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor and fifth floor. B lives only above C and B lives on the second floor. So B would be here and only C is below B, then C may be here or here. Okay. It is obvious that 3 people are above the floors on B. Okay. D doesn't live on the top floor. D is not here. So D would be on 4th floor or 3rd floor. If D is on 4th floor, then A would be here or EA. Okay. But in the question it is given that A lives immediately above E. So if D is here, then A cannot be immediately above E. So this case is not possible. In the another case, B position is fixed. C may be here or here. Okay. Then D must be here because D cannot be on the top floor or second most top floor. Then D would be here and A would be here and E would be here because A lives immediately above E. And now in the question, it is asked that who lives on the 4th floor. It is 4th floor and we can see that E lives on the 4th floor. So our answer option is B. Let us look at another question. 8 persons A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H are sitting in a row in the same order from left to right facing the north direction. The group comprises 4 males and 4 females, out of which there are 3 lawyers, 2 doctors, 2 artists and 1 teacher. It is also known that in the row males and females are sitting alternately. The female doctor is sitting between the 2 male lawyers. The 2 artists are sitting at either the 2 middlemost positions or at the 2 rightmost positions. The teacher is sitting to the immediate right of the male doctor. The male artist is sitting to the immediate right of the female artists. Let us move to the first question of this case list. Who among the following persons can be the male doctor? Okay. Suppose there are 8 positions. It is A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. Okay. From the statement 3, the 2 artists are sitting at either the 2 middlemost positions or at the 2 rightmost positions. Okay. So the 2 artists can sit here. It is artist and it is also artist, or it is artist and it is also artist, because in the question it is given that 2 artists are sitting at either the 2 middlemost positions or at the 2 rightmost positions. Okay. From the statement 5, the male artist is sitting to the immediate right of the female artist. So if it is male artist, then it would be female artist. Hence it would be male. We will represent male by an square and female by a circle. Okay, it is male and circle represents female. Okay, now from the second statement, the female doctor is sitting between the two male lawyers. If it is male, it would also be male and it would be male, because male and female are sitting alternately. Female, female, female and female. From the second statement, the female doctor is sitting between the two male lawyers. So it is male artist and it would be male lawyer, and it also would be male lawyer, because female doctor is sitting between two male lawyers. It cannot be male lawyer, because if it is lawyer and it is artist, then doctor cannot be sit here. So it would be lawyer and it would be lawyer and it would be doctor. Okay. Now from the fourth statement, the teacher is sitting to the immediate right of the male doctor. Only one male is remaining now, that is doctor, and it is given that the teacher is sitting to the immediate right of the male doctor, hence it would be teacher, and only one person is remaining, that would be lawyer, female lawyer. Okay, it is first case. Now let us discuss about second case, in which the two artists are sitting at the two rightmost position. Obviously it would be male artist and it would be female. In statement 5, it is given that the male artist is sitting to the immediate right of the female artist. Okay, it would be male, female, male, female, male and female. And it is also given that the teacher is sitting to the immediate right of the male doctor. If it is male doctor, then it should be teacher. That is not possible. And if it is not male doctor, then it would be lawyer, because two lawyer are male. It is lawyer. And if it is lawyer, then it would be lawyer, because the female doctor is sitting between the two male lawyers. So it would be lawyer. And obviously it would be male doctor. And in the statement 4, it is given that the teacher is sitting to the immediate right of the male doctor, hence it would be teacher. Okay, and it would be doctor, because it is given that the female doctor is sitting between the two male lawyers. It would be doctor. Remaining one is obviously lawyer, because there are three lawyers. Now in the question, who among the following persons can be the male doctor? Male doctor, B may be male doctor and G also may be male doctor. So either B or G is male doctor, hence answer option D is correct. For the next question, what is the profession of A? We can see that in both the cases A is lawyer, so A is lawyer and option A is correct. Let us look at another question. 8 children, Adi, Bindu, Chadu, Dev, Ika, Fawn, Gopi and Huda are sitting around a circular table facing the center. Each child is sitting opposite to a child. Gopi is sitting opposite to Dev, who is sitting second to the left of Bindu. Adi is sitting second to the left of Fawn, who is sitting to the immediate right of Huda. First question, who is sitting opposite to Bindu? Okay. There are 8 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. Now it is given that Gopi is sitting opposite to Dev. Let us suppose it is Gopi, then it would be Dev. Okay. And Dev is sitting second to the left of Bindu. So if it is Dev, then Bindu would be here. Okay. And Adi is sitting second to the left of Faun, who is sitting to the immediate right of Huda. So Huda may be here or here. Because if it is Huda, then Faun should be here, not possible. If it is Huda, then Faun should be here, not possible. And if it is Huda, then Faun should be here, it is also not possible. So there are only two possible places for Huda. This one or this one. Okay. Adi is sitting second to the left of Faun. If it is Huda, then Faun would be here. And Adi is sitting second to the left of Faun. If it is Faun, then Adi would be here. Adi. Okay. And if it is Huda, then Faun would be here. And if it is Faun, then Adi should be second to the left of Faun. Then Adi would be here, which is not possible. So Huda cannot be here and Faun cannot be here. Hence, it would be Huda, it would be Faun, and Adi would be here. And the remaining two persons, that is C and D, may sit at any of these two places. Okay. First question, who is sitting opposite to Bindu? We can see from here that H, that is Huda, is sitting opposite to Bindu. Hence our answer option C is correct. For the next question, who is one of the immediate neighbors of Faun? From the diagram, we can see that Dev and Huda are neighbors of Faun, and in the answer options, Huda is given, so answer option A is correct.